We are now going to begin Baba Kama Mishnah Bet in Parak Aleph. We talked about the Arba Avot Nazikin, the four main categories in the Toldot of the Nazikin. Now what we're going to do is talk about the general obligation to protect your property from causing damage. We know the Mishnah ended with Hatzad Hashava Shabahem Shadarkan Lahazik V'Shmiratan Alecha, that they're dangerous things. They're things that could cause nezek. Now, dangerous doesn't necessarily mean literally dangerous. A cow is not necessarily dangerous, although there is another av, which we'll see later, called keren, which is a cow or an animal attacking. It is not covered in the first Mishnah, and it would be included in this Mishnah, but that's not for right now. To dark on the hazik, they're likely to cause damage, likely to eat someone else's crops, or to break something. Fire is likely to burn, and a boar is likely to cause injury or death by falling in. B'shmiratan alecha. That is going to be the main point we're focusing on today. I would like you to take a look real quick at his website called themerkava.com. That is what some of you have already used. It's a tool that will help you to review the Mishnah. I'm going to do this with you to some degree right now, but this is very beneficial for you to go through on your own. When you use this, the screen has the Mishnah in it. Here we're going to do bet, right? And you click the link, the words or phrases that you want to see, and it gives you a translation of that phrase. Kol shechavti b'shmirato. Whenever I am under the obligation of control, and we're going to go through this, I wanted to point this out because this can be very useful for reviewing and preparing you for reading the Mishnah. It has all the Mishnah there, it has Chumash there, Talmud there. It's a very, very good tool. You need to make an account, but the account is free with your Hillel Torah email address, and it can be very, very useful for you guys. I urge you to use that tool. Use the Merkava, both in your own time, and sometimes we might use it even in Shiur, to review and learn some of the Mishnayot. Right now we're going to do it together. That we ended, as we said, with the Tzad Hashava Shebehem V'Shmiratan Alecha. You have to guard them. The second Mishnah is going to talk about two different things. We're going to do the Reisha right now, the Seifa later. Mishnah discusses Kol Shechavti B'Shmirato Hiksharti Et Nizko. Anything that I have a chav, I'm chiyu, mechuyav, chayev, it's all the same word. The shoresh being basic function of chet, yud, and bet, all different forms of conjugation, of breaking it up. Anything I'm chayev b'shmirato, I am obligated to guard. So we saw all of the four other avot you're going to be chayev in. Karen, you'd be chayav in a different way. We'll talk about that later, maybe. But kol shechavti b'shmirto, I'm obligated to protect the thing from causing nezek. Hiksharti et nizko. Hiksharti means, like the word kasher, it's fit to be eaten. The word kasher literally means allowed to be eaten, or it's prepared, allowed, fit to be eaten. When you do heksher kalim, when you make a dish or vessel that became unkosher, non-kosher, treif. When you make it kosher again, you're making it fit to be used to eat from. Hiksharti et nizko means I'm making the situation fit, possible to cause nezek. When I am irresponsible and don't watch my cow properly, I don't give it the proper shmirah, I am hikshir the nezek. I'm allowing the nezek to happen. I'm making it likely to happen because I didn't wash it properly. I didn't take care of it in the way that I should have. That was my obligation. I didn't. It's as if I made it possible. I made it likely to cause that nezek. So Mishnah says that I have this obligation to do shmirah, and if I don't, I am obligated. And that is basically the same thing as the first Mishnah. That's those things are things that if I'm using them or if I have them in my possession, I have to take care of them. I have to have that responsibility in how I act with them. What it continues to say is hiksharti b'miktzat nizko. If I prepare miktzat, part of, a little bit of the nizko, a little bit of that nezek, chavti b'tashlumin keheksher kol nizko. I am chayiv in tashlumin is paying back, tashlumei nezek, kehekshir kol nizko, as if I prepared the whole thing. Let's say I create a situation where I'm doing a little bit of the damage. I'm not really causing the whole thing. I cause part of the problem. The Mishnah says it's as if I allowed the entire thing to be damaged. What we're going to have to see is exactly what does that mean. Does that mean I take one nail out of a fence and then someone else knocks the entire fence down and the cows come out and they eat someone's property? Am I obligated in that? Am I chayiv in that situation? I would say I did a very, very little bit. That is technically miktzat, but it seems very, very strange that I would be obligated there. Alternatively, if someone else takes one nail and I knock the whole thing down, I can say, well, he took the nail out first. His fault. So we're going to have to see which one is obligated. What we're going to do for that is we're going to look at the Bartanura. If you look inside your Mishnah, and we're going to need your Mishnah open for this because some of the questions you'll see are going to require you to have your Mishnah. What the Bartanura does, sort of like Rashi does, where he picks up on questions like I just asked you, and he provides an answer coming from various sources, predominantly the Talmud. The Talmud on Baba Kama talks about these things a lot. Some of your questions have actually been covered in the Talmud as well. Many things we've talked about came from the Talmud and the Bartanura. So he is going to address our questions. I have provided a picture of the Bartanura here, but feel free to follow along in yours, and we're also going to learn how to use it on our own. You'll see, just like in Rashi, you have the Divrei HaMatchil, the title, so to speak, which are words from the Mishnah, Kol Shechavti B'Shmirato, the first lines of our Mishnah. He says, Kol Davar Shnitchayavti L'Shamro. Anything, Kol Davar, anything, Shnitchayavti L'Shamro, anything that I am obligated, Chayav, to guard, that's referred to here. You'll see many times in the Mishnah the word kol doesn't just mean all, but it means any circumstance which is like something else. There's a certain style or a certain circumstance that has certain qualities. Any situation that has certain qualities, kol means that any situation that fits these qualities, that's going to be a situation where whenever the Mishnah is talking about. Here it's talking about shechavti b'shmirato. Any circumstance where I am obligated to guard it, it's going to be hiksharti et nizko. So the second divrei matchil, hiksharti et nizko, is dealing with what situations is it actually talking about that I am obligated to guard it and I'm going to be chayav. So some of it is like self-explanatory, but here it says im lo shemarti kara'oi v'hizak. If I don't guard it properly, kara'oi, that's going to be the big deal, and it's damaged, anihu shehaksharti v'zamanti oto hizak. I'm the one who allowed it to happen. I'm the one that prepared it. Hikshir v'zaman. I invited it. I made it possible to happen. Hizak. V'ani chayav alayv. Therefore, I'm going to be obligated in it. Kagon. It's going to give an example. The example comes from the Talmud. It's a baraita. The Bartanura brings it. Hamoser shoro lechoresh shota b'katan. These are different categories of people who are not able to think properly. A katan is immature. They don't know how to be responsible quite yet. Shota is someone who doesn't have the intellectual ability to do it. Cheresh is also. If you give over a shore to somebody like that, so here, take care of this for me, please, and it gets damaged, chayav. I am chayav. It's because technically, I'm not the one watching it right now. I'm not the one guarding it right now. But I'm the one that appointed that person to guard it, and that person is not able to fill that job. I should know that. A katan, a 3-year-old, a child, is not the one who can be watching a horse, or watching a cow. That's just not responsible. Imagine appointing a 4-year-old to watch a baby. They're way too young. They're not mature enough. Therefore, if something happens, it's my fault for appointing that person who is not able to take care of the situation, to be shomer the situation. Sha'aliv hayamutal shmirat shoro v'hay lo shamru kara'oi lo. I'm the one who has the obligation, alive, the shmira. I didn't shamro kara'oi lo. I didn't shomer it. I didn't guard it. You give it the shmira that's karoy, that's fitting for it. He's going to now talk about hiksharti b'miktzat nizko. In order to do that, I have to go back to the first Mishnah. The first Mishnah talks about a bore, a hole. Now we said previously, if the bore is 9 tefachim, tet tefachim, tesha tefachim, and the animal falls and is injured, I'm chayiv. Because that's my hole. I made the hole there. It's something that I was responsible for. However, if the animal dies, I'm not responsible because a 10 tefach hole is able to kill, but a 9 tefach hole is not really something that's likely to kill something. And if the animal died, it's because there was some other problem going on. It's not really the hole digger's fault. It's something in the animal. It was a weaker animal. So if it's injured, any depth is going to be chayav. If it's killed, it's only if it's 10 tefachim or more. Kind of like it's not really dangerous enough to kill it, and if the result is death, that shows it's not really from the hole. The Bartanura is going to talk about a case of this, where it's a combination. Hiksharti miktzat nizko. He did a little bit of it. Im tikhanti v'zamanti miktzat hanezek. If I fix up or make the situation, I invite, so to speak, I make it prepared, miktzat nezek, part of the nezek, afa pishalo zimanti, v'tikanti et hakol, not the whole thing, nitchayavti alive ki'ilu zimanti kulo. I'm going to be chayav as if I made the whole situation possible to create all of the nezek. Now, this example he's going to give is going to be a little different than ours, but we're going to see if we can figure out how ours plays in. Kagona chofer bor tesha bereshut harabim. He digs a hole in tesha tefachim in the reshut harabim, in a public place. Bo acher veishlimu le'asara. Somebody else comes and they dig that last tefach. V'nafal shama shor o chamor v'met. An animal dies in that hole. Now the hole that I dug, the first person, was only 9 tefachim. It couldn't kill something. But now this one guy comes in and digs one more tefach, and now it's 10 and it can kill something. The hole is something that can cause mitah, can cause death, but not what I did and not what he did. So there are two ways to look at this. One is I did most of the work. I did 10 tefachim. I did 9 of them. This guy comes in and goes one little tefach. What did he really do? On the other hand, the situation I created was not one that's actually going to cause the nezek that happened. It's not one that's going to cause mitah. It's not one that's going to cause the animal to die. So what I did, and I left, it was irresponsible, but it's not something that would be chayav in this case. What he did was only one tefach. It was a little bit of work, but that little bit completed it, making it a full case of possible for nezek of mitah. Ha'acharon chayav. The last one is going to be chayav. The last person who finished it, he only did a little bit of it, and without the first 9 tefachim, which I did, which probably are even harder to dig, without that work, he couldn't do anything. Nevertheless, ki'ilu asa kol hanezek. It's as if he did all of the nezek. Kevan the betesha lecha mitah. There is no, lecha means eino mitah. The tesha tefachim means nothing. It's not going to be obligated for nezek if it kills. Nevertheless, with that extra tefach, it becomes ester tefachim. It becomes a case that could cause mitah. He now has as if he made the whole hole himself, the whole bore himself. He is going to be chayav on everything. I'm nothing. So in our case of the fence, I took one little nail out, one screw out of the fence, and someone else comes and takes the whole fence, even though it could be that my fence, my nail that I took out, made it easier to take the fence apart, the last person is going to be chayav, not me, because he is the one that really caused the whole thing. He couldn't do anything without me taking my screw out, and he didn't even have a screwdriver. But since he's the one that caused the last step, he's the one that's going to be chayav. The message of this Mishnah is really saying, Kol shechavti b'shmirato heksharti et nizko. We have to take achrayut. We have to know what we're doing. If I have to guard something, if it's my property, I have to take the achrayut, the responsibility, shmirah, to make sure that it doesn't shir nezek, it doesn't cause damage. I also have to be aware that even if I only do a little bit, whatever allows damage to happen, it's going to be my fault. We're going to see next There's certain cases, the Seifa of our Mishnah, which are patur entirely.